Hey everyone, I bet you can guess by this box of rusty items what my R is going to be for this week for Ann Kinlan's challenge. Yes, rust water. So I have a video which I will link below on how I rust items. And after I rust them, you end up you have water like this, just rust water. And then what I do with this rust water is I take a spray bottle, get a funnel, and pour it into the bottle. And that's your rust water. To be honest, that's a lie. I don't use a funnel. I usually try to pour it from the corner and see how big of a mess I can make. But nonetheless, if you want to do it neatly, I would definitely use a funnel. And I know a lot of my waters, like the coffee, tea, hibiscus tea, things like that, I always add a little bit of alcohol to them so they don't mold. I don't have to do that with this rust water. I'm assuming it's because of the peroxide that's in it, maybe the cider. I'm not really sure, but it doesn't mold. This has been, well, I would say months ago that I made this water. Um, and I'm going to put this away and I want to show you how I do my rust paper. Okay, if you're wondering what is rust paper, what does it look like, this is it. I'm hoping you can see the orange streaks in there, but you also see all the dark. This is from rust water. And I'll tell you, I normally, when I do rust on my papers, this was all I have left is these three. And this, it looks like I sprayed a little bit of maybe some distress ink that had glitter in it or metallic. But see all that orange rust? Isn't that pretty? Now this dark, you can see that also comes from it. If you use this on tea-dyed paper, you're mostly going to get just the dark, because when the rust reacts with the tea, it doesn't let you have all of the orange that you can see in here. That will dissipate and go away. It'll mostly be all black. So depending on what you're looking for, I like to use just white paper. And the kind of paper I use is from Amazon. It's actually the Amazon brand of copy paper that's 24 pound. And I don't think the pound matters. I don't think the kind matters. I've done this with all kinds of papers. The dyeing process that I do of all the different kinds of dyeing, and it always turns out no matter what I use. So I also wanted to show you, uh, my friend and I, this is what I'm going to use today because it's rainy outside, so I'm not going to go outside to do it. But this basting pan, I guess it's a basting pan, a roaster or something. It normally comes with a new oven. It was $2 at the secondhand shop, but on this day, everything was half off. So I only paid $1 for both of these pieces, and they're great to use for if you need to do your dyeing inside. And also this is great for laying your papers on, and you'll get this kind of a pattern on your paper. But today I thought I would use some placemats that I have and a stencil that my grandson got me for Mother's Day. He got this. I was talking about this that he had got at Walmart, and this is what it is. It's a plastic stencil, and it leaves really good marks. And then also I thought I would show, this is one of the pieces of tablecloth, crochet tablecloth, that I've used many times. You can tell it didn't start out this color. This is from the tea dyeing, but I thought I would lay it on one and let you see what kind of a cool pattern you get from that. So this is going to be a video that I'll have to wait for everything to dry and come back to. But I thought we could get started, and I'm not going to do a whole lot of it because like I said, I can't go outside. It's rainy, and I'm going to put it in the garage, so it might take it a little bit to dry, probably till tomorrow. Even though I'm not doing much, the papers will be layered. I'm not going to do them in single layers, and so it might take until tomorrow for it to get dry. So how I'm going to start is just take one of my papers here, and I'm going to just lay down. I'm not going to spray it or anything. My pan's a little wet because I rinsed it out, but I'm going to lay this one on it. I'm going to do this one first. And I'm going to lay it as flat as I can. My pan is not quite big enough to hold the whole thing, but it's laying pretty flat. I mean, I think it should still give a really nice pattern. And so now I'm just going to spray it with my rusted water. Now, if you use this rust water on anything, any kind of fabric or crochet pieces, they're going to turn really dark, just like, you know, if the paper was tea dyed. But can you see all that orange in there? Isn't it pretty? But a lot of that is going to turn to a darker color. So I'm just going to lay this on the top, and it probably won't get much of a ghost print because my doily isn't very wet, but I'm going to go ahead and spray this. Just spray it random. Another nice thing to do with this rust water is to crinkle them up and then spray the rust water, and you get it all in those crinkles and things, kind of like this. So just go ahead and, well, you could actually spray it first a little bit, and then, I don't really want to get this all over my hands, but here we go. And then just kind of wad it up and set it over to the side and spray it a little bit more, and you'll get drops of that down in your paper, and it'll settle in those wrinkles, and it'll look really neat. So I'm going to just kind of set this over to the edge here until we're done. Actually, I'm going to set it on this other rusted paper, and that way I'll have room for my new papers that I'm putting in. So I'm just random squirting it, you know, and if you just do it a little bit, you get bigger blobs, which I think looks really neat. Let's see if this will fit in my pan. I think it will. Well, it may not. That's okay. I can bend it down enough on both, or up on both sides, where it'll lay pretty flat in the middle, like that. Spray it around a little bit. See if it gives. It may not be flat enough that it's gonna give a very good pattern. I hope it does, but I forgot that my pan was probably not big enough. I'm gonna just spray a little bit more. You could, you know, alternate, do some papers a different color. The only reason I'm just barely squirting so that it gives the puddles like that, is because I don't want this to turn all dark. I want it to have some of that really cool orange color that rust water gives. And you say, why do you do this? What are you going to do with this kind of paper? Well, as I've said many times in my videos, I really like different papers, different sizes, different colors, different everything when I make journals. I like the variety of papers and all the things. So that's why I am making rust paper. Hoping that, yeah, I can see that it's going to give a good color through there. I think we're going to get a good ghost print off of that one. I'm just going to not squirt a lot, just a little bit on there, and then I'm going to keep on going. Maybe I'll get some ghost prints. I don't know. My paper's not all that wet, so I don't imagine that I'll get very good ghost prints. And, you know, again, saying that it's not very wet, I might not have to wait very long for it to dry either. So now I'm going to lay this one on here. Hopefully, I love this pattern. It's kind of a grungy pattern. I like it a lot. I use it a lot in tea dyeing and coffee, especially if you're outside, because it will make all those little areas that show really dark. I will tell you, if you're the kind of person that don't like smells, probably won't like rust water because it does smell like rust. I mean, it's got that smell to it. So I'm just kind of putting blobs on there. I like that kind of look. I get carried away. I say I'm not going to do very many, and then I end up doing a whole bunch. This is kind of a neat little stencil. I haven't used it yet, so I'm going to put it on there. Kind of fun, kind of different. See what we get from that, huh? All right. So now I've got some of these. I think I might just make a few more that are crinkled up like that. Just set them here on the top. I put some rust water in my Etsy shop last year, and I thought no one will probably buy that. And you know what? They did. It sold out. I was shocked. So I guess there's lots of grungy people in the world that like grunge, huh? Lots of people that like grunge. And I always link her channel when I'm doing her channels or her challenges. But if you have a minute, go check it out, because she's one of those people that you can just, even if you don't have time to watch, you can listen to her, and it's very soothing. She's one of those very soft and spoken people that just makes you feel good to listen to them. You know what I mean? I love her channel. She's very inspiring. Her way of crafting is very different than mine, and that's another thing I love, is how much she inspires me. You know, like I say, even if you don't like the grungy or you don't like what someone's doing, they can still inspire you. And I really like that. Okay. I think that's about good. I don't know how many sheets I have here. All right. So I'm going to take this to the garage and just let it dry. I can't quit squirting. See, I see little white spots, and I feel like I need to squirt there. I'm going to let it dry, and sorry, I had squirted this piece by accident on the edge, so I decided I better go ahead and just put some more on it so that it's not, I don't grab it up to print on it one day, and that's what it has on it. But I hope that these turn out good where I can show you. I'm hoping it gives both colors. Right now, it just kind of looks like it's going to give me the orange rusty color, which I'm not complaining about. I really, really like. I'm wondering about some of these, maybe spraying on some distress inks, like some soot or something like that, to give it an extra color. What do you think? Should we do that? Let's do that. Hold on. So I've got some black soot. You can see I've got it all over my fingers, and some gathered twig. I think this might be mostly watered down, because this doesn't look like full strength. So, and I grabbed the gathered twig too, because I didn't want this to end up looking like just Halloween on the ones that are on the top. Kind of moving them around a little bit and trying to spray underneath too, and down in there, to just give it some different color. And then I'm going to use this. I don't know that it's going to show. Oh, it's got some good colors in it. I thought maybe it was like, well, I still think it is. I think it's where it was almost out, and I put water in it to get all the goodness off that I could get off the bottom and not waste any of it. Maybe it's not, but it kind of looks watered down like that. Okay, so this distress is going to leave that powdery look, so I might just, I don't like the powdery look. Kind of going over the, where I sprayed that. I'm not going to get all the spots, I'm sure, but I'm kind of going over it with some of this rust water where it will hopefully take off that powdery look. If not, we can always wipe it down when it's dry. You know what I mean? We can always wipe the powdery back off. And I say that, now I'm going to spray some more. Oh well, we'll figure it out. I hope this looks good. I hope it's not just a jumbled up mess, but I'll at least be able to show you on the underneath ones what rust water is without all of this extra that I decided I needed to spray at the last minute. Wasn't how this was supposed to go down, but that's usually how I do. I add a bunch of stuff that I don't intend to. So I'm going to take this to the garage and I'm going to let it dry. Like I say, probably be overnight. Maybe not. I don't have very much of it, so maybe not. And then I'll come back and show you what we came up with. What it's like I say, it's like a surprise. It's like Christmas. You never know what you're going to get. So I hope you'll come back and join me. Hey everyone. So it is at least 24 hours later, mainly because I forgot to go and look. And I'm pretty sure these ones on the top, the ones on the top are, yes, look. Aren't they gorgeous? Look, some things turned green. I don't know if that was the rust with maybe the black or the brown, but oh wow, look at these. Aren't they great? And the back is like totally different. So it's like two completely different sheets of paper. So I'll get these out and let's see if we have what we have underneath, if any of this is dry. I didn't go move it or anything. Wow, isn't that pretty? I didn't go move it or anything, so. And see how they just peel apart. And again, I know that they weren't completely saturated, but they're still really pretty. But the saturated ones, this is how they peel apart as well once they're dry. I tend to move mine before they... Oh, and here's the one with the stencil. This kind of just came out as a blob, but it's still kind of cool. And then there is the actual stencil. So that looks pretty cool. That's fun, isn't it? I think where the brighter came was from the brown, the gathered twigs, and that green came from the rust and the soot touching each other. So that's interesting. I like that. Okay, here is underneath that stencil. I really like these patterns. I think that's fun. I don't think I realized that the spray I had done got down this low. That's kind of neat that it seeped through all of those layers and stencils. So what do you think? Is this something that you would try? Do you like these? You know, it could be also, like on that there was coloring on my stencil because I've mentioned before I never rinse them off. So maybe some of these lower colors are from my stencils. I think that turned out really pretty. And here is the top of where I laid the stencil on. And I know a lot of people like perfect, you know, their stencils to look perfect. I don't. I much prefer the grungier style. So this is just perfect for me. I love this. I'm really happy with how these turned out. Very pretty. Okay, and here's the one underneath. See, it does give it a good pattern. And see how it turned my doily kind of black? That's what the rust does to fabrics or... Wow. Do you like it? I really am happy with that. That is great. I really like how that turned out. Maybe let's unfold some of these little bundles. And really, for the most part, I've had that stuff. Well, I mean, I have had that stuff laying on it all night. And this bottom one is damp. I wouldn't say it's wet, but it is damp. But just pulling them apart, and now I'll lay them apart. It won't take it maybe another 30 minutes or so, maybe an hour to completely dry. So what do you think so far? Do you like these? Do you like the results of this, or do you think rust really isn't for me? Really like how the rust settled into the creases. So, so pretty. Yeah, that's what it was. When the black soot hit the rust, it kind of turned it a green. So that's interesting. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And spraying the rust back on where the stress spray, it's still a little powdery looking, but not bad. Maybe if I was going to do distress sprays too, I should have done it first, so that when I sprayed on my rust, it could have taken all of that away. But I kind of like it. I like how it gives it a different texture look to just the same paper. You know, you have... This one turned out pretty good. Isn't that interesting? The back of it looks like a totally different sheet of paper. I mean, so like, wow, that's so neat. Look at that. So fun. And you don't have to have rust to do this. I mean, goodness, just use your sprays or your Rit dye or Easter egg color or whatever you have. Oh, goodness, that's a good one. Look at there, all that rust. So I'm going to count how many sheets we did. So there are 27 sheets here. We've done 10 of the wrinkled and 17 of the straight papers. And I think, a lot of people don't do dyeing because they don't have room or space for drying. But really all you need is somewhere to put the pan, because I didn't move anything out of the pan. You saw me do it yesterday, all of this right here on my desk, and then I just moved the pan. So agreed that these require a little more drying, but you could lay them outside on a table. You could, lay them like that. They don't have to be individual. They will dry just separating them a bit. So I think that you can make your own papers. I mean, this is a good stack of papers. You could make, if you were doing tea dye or something other than rust that you wanted to make a journal from, that's more than enough to make 27 sheets is, 54 sheets folded. So that's plenty to make a journal or 2 journals. It would be more than a journal for me. I don't usually put that many in mine. But that is rust dye. I hope you like this. And I'm really tickled at how good this one turned out. Again, it's not perfection. I've seen people put these in a seconds pile because they don't like that it's not crisp. I love this. I love that it gives a pattern, but it still looks nice and grungy, and I really like that one, especially with the rest. It's a good way. And I wish you could see this really close. Can you see all those lines? Like, it's almost like textured. It doesn't feel textured, but it looks like it ought to have a texture to it. And this doesn't, this is not coming off. See? This isn't coming off. So, I hope you like this. I hope you'll give it a try. Any kind of dyeing, I hope you'll give it a try. And if you have just a small area, try it. It's so much fun. It's not a mess. I had a spray bottle. That's it. There was no cleanup. I urge you to give it a try. It's so much fun, and you'll just love the papers that you create. You'll be so surprised. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.